COP26 is the latest in a long line of negotiations that go back to the early 1990s when the United Nations established its Framework Convention on Climate Change. Now, COP stands for Conference of the Parties, and the parties in this case are all the nations that are signed up to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. So that's basically all the nations of the world. And 26 in this case, very simply because this is the 26th annual meeting to progress these negotiations under the United Nations framework. So the main purpose of the Glasgow COP26 this year is to negotiate pledges, targets, and more specifically the actual means and processes by which all the nations are actually going to keep their emissions at such a level that by the end of the century we're not over 1.5 C of warming. A 1.5 C world, which is what COP26 aims to achieve, is much safer than a 2 C world. A world that has warmed 1.5 C by 2100 would put several hundred million fewer people around the whole world at risk of extreme weather events and effects like drought, floods, storms, and long-term loss of water resources than would a 2C world. In climate and weather terms, the world is already very close to that limit, hence the urgency of the negotiations. And it's agreed now that the global community needs to halve emissions by 2030 to stand a chance of hitting that 1.5 C figure. So that really focuses the minds of the world's leaders. And we've seen major commitments coming in from major nations in advance of this meeting. And so the stakes really are very high. There is a lot at stake for the UK in hosting such a very important high-profile meeting. There's also a great deal of opportunity for the UK if it can pull off a really successful meeting. Obviously, people are always a little bit sceptical about how much success you really can achieve when you have so many nations with different interests coming together. If COP26 can be shown in any substantial way to have kick-started the decarbonisation process that the Paris Agreement aimed for, then that would be a tremendous boost for the UK to have been seen to pull off something probably of a diplomatic triumph. If everyone can come away from that meeting with something really to show for it, that would be a tremendous global diplomatic triumph for the UK.